The most common shift in the pelvis because of hips is back on the left, front on the right, up on the left, down on the right. So if you have chronic back issues, maybe consider your pelvis and hips. If I show you this from the front, you can see what it does to the hip joints. One sits up and back, one sits down and forward. You will change the way your hips can move, which will affect down to your knees and feet. So, if your left was the one sitting up and back, and your hamstring goes from here to here, would it not make sense that just at rest doing nothing, if this was sitting up higher and back, that you would be putting more tension on it just at rest from the mere position that it sits upon? Take that into consideration, because if you can't lean over into one hip and you feel it tugging and pulling like I do right now in my left, I could sit forever on a ball and lean, and guess what? It still bothers me, it still hurts, I'll still need to do a lot of warm up. If you can consider that your pelvis shifted and you want to correct that, you could at least take away an aggravating factor from resting position. So if my left one sits back and up versus my right, what I know I can do is push the left one from back to front. So I'm not going to put it just anywhere. I'm going to make sure that my sacrum, it's just parallel to the sacrum on the outer border, and I would lean back on it and see if I can get a nice shift and melt where the right can shift back and the left one gets pushed forward. Conversely, I would take ideally a round ball and I would hug it and really push back into the right, where I can actually feel it shifting back more than usual, because the right one was sitting front and I would like it to shift back. Once I do that and I get a nice release and shift, so I have spent minutes per position, you can do that shotgun relief where hopefully you got your pelvis from this to this. And then what you're looking for is structurally, did it give you some freedom to be able to bend over your restricted side without feeling the strain? If you still feel the strain, it's because the hip itself is restricted, and that's what's causing your pelvis shift. So you can either address the structure to change the lever arm of the hamstring's function, or you can continually do your usual warm-up and your usual releases of sitting and digging, but you'll have to do that forever because those interventions are only for the lever arm and don't address the structure at all.